What's up, guys? You're welcome back to my channel. Alright, guys, it is no longer news that the tribunal has been sitting, and one of the cases that has been put on hold is actually being reinvigorated. Right? It has been brought back to the court. I'm talking about the case of the Allied People's Movement when they were challenging for the issue of the case of double nomination of Kashim Shettima of the APC. Right, you remember that Atiku Abubakar once challenged for this issue of the double nomination of Kashim Shettima by the APC and Ahmed Bola Tinubu. But before the swearing in, that case of Atiku Abubakar was being struck out, and Atiku Abubakar was being charged for a fine of 2 million on the ground of being busybody in the affairs of the APC. However, the Allied People's Movement also continued to drag on this case, and at one point, the APC lawyers told the court that this case had already been judged, and then the petition from Allied People's Movement lacked merit. However, the Allied People's Movement prayed the court to give them more time so that they can go and study the judgment and see if they were willing to move ahead with the case. And after the Allied People's Movement have allegedly studied the case and the judgment that was delivered, they have decided to go on with the case. The Allied People's Movement has insisted on proceeding with its case before the Presidential Election Petition Court, challenging the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the last election. The Allied People's Movement is querying the legality of the joint ticket of Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima, arguing, among others, that Shettima had double nomination, which it claimed rendered the joint ticket invalid. The Presidential Election Petition Court had on May 30 suspended proceedings in the matter to enable the parties obtain and study a judgment delivered on 26th judgment by the Supreme Court dismissing a case by the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in which the party sought to void the joint ticket of Tinubu and Shettima as presidential and vice presidential candidates of the APC in the last election. The People's Democratic Party had, in its case, claimed that Shettima violated the Electoral Act by allowing himself to be nominated twice for two different offices, Borno Central Senatorial District and Vice President, and also prayed the court to disqualify Tinubu and Shettima. In its judgment, the Supreme Court held, among others, that Shettima was not nominated twice and that a political party lacked the local standing to challenge the process adopted by another political party in nominating its candidate. Lawyer to President Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima on May 30 drew the court's attention to the Supreme Court judgment and argued that, in view of the Apex Court's finding in the PDP case, there was no longer issues to be determined by the Presidential Election Petition Council in the petition delivered by the Allied People's Movement. But the petitioner's lawyer, Shehu Abubakar, denied knowledge of the judgment and sought time to be allowed to access the judgment, study it, and decide what further steps to take. Now both parties have returned to the court on Monday today, and a new lawyer who represented the Allied People's Movement, Idiaboya, said he got a copy of the judgment from Fagbemi. We have gone through the judgment, and we are aware of the opinion that we can still proceed with the petition, Idiaboya said, and prayed the court for an adjournment to a later date for trial. He said the petitioner intends to call a witness but needed time to enable it to retrieve some documents from the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) with which it planned to conduct its case. Lawyers to the respondents, including Abubakar Mahmood, SAN for INEC, Olanipekun, and Charles Owasenyi Edosuwan, SAN, did not object to Idiaboya's request. Olanipekun said he has also read the judgment. He, however, insisted that the petitioner must be allowed to return the next day for trial, a request Idiaboya objected to, insisting that he needed time to get the documents from INEC. Meanwhile, Justice Haruna Asmani has adjourned the ruling till Wednesday for the trial. So they are still hitting hard on the case of the double nomination of Kashim Shettima. You also remember that Labour Party is also into the case where a video was being presented